What's going on, guys? Today we're making sheet pan pancakes. I personally never made this growing up with my family, but I know Matthew did, and he's a big fan of this, so I thought, why not just make them keto style? So we have a 13 by 18 sized baking sheet right here, as you can see, and we have sprayed it with some coconut oil spray so that the parchment paper sticks to it. This is just our lined baking sheet. So this is what we're gonna use to make the pancakes in. And for fun, we are going to do 3 different types. So we got some sugar-free chocolate chips right here, some pecans, and then we're gonna do some blueberries on 1/3 as well. And that'll just change up the flavors. Everyone can pick and choose, and it's just more fun. We're gonna set this aside and get started on our batter. So the first thing we're gonna add to a large mixing bowl is 1 cup of nut milk. So here we're using macadamia nut milk, but whatever you have on hand. Almond, coconut, cashew. And then to that, we're gonna add about a teaspoon of lemon juice. We're actually gonna let it set for 10 minutes and allow the milk to curdle. Does it need to curdle? What does curdling do? Mixed with baking powder will help the baked good or the pancakes rise a little more. So we're gonna want these pancakes nice and fluffy. So we're gonna let this curdle before we move on with the rest of our ingredients. All right, guys, it's been 10 minutes and we're back. And check out the milk. So it does look slightly curdled, as you can see. So a lot more would happen if this was just like standard whole milk, but something did happen and I think it's worth doing it for these sheet pan pancakes. So we're just gonna add the rest of our wet ingredients, which is a teaspoon of vanilla extract. We're gonna do 1/4 cup of erythritol, 10 drops of liquid stevia, 5 large eggs, and 6 tablespoons of butter that we melted down, but we also allowed to cool for a bit while the milk curdled. And now we're gonna give this a whisk. So as you can see, I did not add a lot of sweetener, and pancakes aren't really that sweet. I just really like them sweet, so when I make them at home, or we make protein waffles, which is also on our food blog, great recipe, I like to up the sweetener. So if you just want these sweet so you don't have to like top them with syrup or anything, then go ahead and add more erythritol or stevia, and that'll just give you a nice sweet pancake. So now we're just gonna add the dry ingredients. So we're gonna do 3 cups of almond flour. I know that's a lot, but this is making a very big serving. As you saw, our sheet pan was pretty big. We're gonna do 2 tablespoons of coconut flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and this is gonna work together in unison with the curdled milk that we did earlier, and a nice pinch of salt. And all that's left to do is to whisk this. Okay, so our batter has come together. It's thick, but it's still nice and loose enough to spread on that pan, and it's smooth. That's what we want. We want a nice smooth consistency. So let's pull over our baking sheet. So all I'm gonna do is first preheat the oven to 425 degrees, and then pour our batter on top of this baking sheet. So give it a nice even spread, and don't worry if it seems too thin. These are gonna rise and they will be just perfect. Okay, so that looks good to me. So now we got our toppings, as I mentioned. And this is just really whatever you wanna do, have fun with it, or don't do any toppings at all. So we're gonna do some blueberries on this one side here. Chocolate chips right down the center. We got some pecans. That was good to me. So we're gonna pop this in the oven at 425 degrees for 10 to 13 minutes. We'll check on it around 9 minutes and see what's happening. It might be done. So we'll be back to slice into this and taste test. I'm so excited. All right, guys. Yay! How beautiful. So you can see that it did rise and it's nice and firm.
You didn't put enough blueberries.
It took 17 minutes in our oven. So maybe just keep an eye on it. I added a minute or 2 minutes every time just to make sure it didn't cook too much, because 425 degrees is pretty hot, so it could burn pretty quickly. But I want to turn this around so you can see how much it rose, how thick it is. That's gonna be nice and fluffy, huh? This recipe's got me excited. Okay, so I'm gonna slice it up. Should I just slice it up? So we're gonna go 12 slices. I figure 4 of each. So that looks nice. I'm just gonna pop this piece out right here. Ooh, nice and thick. Should pull out another piece too. Oh, look at that. That's nice. So top that with some butter, some low-carb maple syrup. And what's so great about this is, one, it's really quick to make, super easy cleanup too. And then three, this is just great for like a house full of people. So you have family visiting, holidays, everyone wants pancakes. Just make something like this. You can change up the fillings too. I'm just gonna try the pancake itself. Wow. So there's a nice crust on the outside. You can see the brown crust, and then it's still nice and fluffy on the inside. This is probably the best way to make pancakes because flipping pancakes is like one of the hardest things to do. And the first one's always burnt. This way, they're all perfectly brown and even, so no one has to take like the burnt one. Guys, these are so good. I'm really excited about this recipe. Sheet pan pancakes, who knew it could be so easy? So linked below is the blog post and the recipe and the ingredients and the instructions on how to make these sheet pan pancakes. They are going to change up your breakfast game. So definitely make them. Let us know what you think. Thanks for joining us.